Banyam Shri Guru Shiyata Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Saganaraganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabalutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shivishikam Vitam Sya Om Agyana Timarandasya Gyanajana Shilakaya Chakshurun Milidam Yena Tasma Shri Gurave Namah Gurva Bistam Supurkam Gurganana Sesha Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasta Veda Nipanam Shri Rupa Patanugam Govinda Bidam Ujwalam Varatanum Bhakyan Vidam Sundaram Mande Vishwaguruncha Divyat Bhagavat Prem Noe Bija Pradam Devam Divyatanam Suchandabaranam Balarka Chelanchitam Sandrananda Puram Sadekavaranam Vairagya Vidyambudim Sri Siddhanta Nidim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Baram Bandetam Shubharam Madeka Sharanam Nyashishwara Shidaram Vanshakapatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavenibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahabharanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gaurachavishe Namah. We're hearing from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, translation and commentary by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupad. This is Madhya-lila, chapter 6, the liberation of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Nomitam Gorachandram ya kutarka karkashashayam Sarvabhaumam Sarvabhauma Bhakti Bhumanam Acharat. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Gorachandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who converted the hard-hearted Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, the reservoir of all bad logic, into a great devotee. Jaya Jaya Gorachandra Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gorabhakta Vrinda. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Sri Nityananda Prabhu, all glories to Sri Advaita Acharya, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. Aveshe Chalila Prabhu Jagannath Mandire Jagannath Deki Preme Hoila Astire. In ecstasy, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went from Ataranala to the temple of Jagannath. After seeing Lord Jagannath, he became very restless due to love of Godhead. So previously, Mahaprabhu was traveling from Advaita Acharya's house to Jagannath Puri. But when they were coming near to the temple of Jagannath, there was the incident where Nityananda Prabhu broke Mahaprabhu's sannyas danda, his staff, in 3 places and threw it into the river. So Mahaprabhu asked, what happened to my danda? And Nityananda said, well, you were in ecstasy and you fell, and I tried to catch you, but we fell onto the danda and it broke. Actually, Nityananda didn't think that Mahaprabhu had to. Danda means punishment, so he didn't think that Mahaprabhu had to carry a sannyas danda because he was already beyond. Being the Lord himself, he's beyond the Paramahamsa stage, so Paramahamsas don't have to carry dandas, so Nityananda broke it and threw it away. But Mahaprabhu was very upset about that. And he said, I will not go into Jagannath Puri with all the with Nityananda and all the devotees. They can go first and I'll go behind, or I can go first and they will go behind, but I will not go to Puri with all of you. So they said, all right, you go first and then we will follow. So Mahaprabhu went first and he came to the temple of Lord Jagannath and he was by himself then. when Mahaprabhu, after seeing Lord Jagannath, became very restless due to love of Godhead. Jagannatha lingite shalila daya mandire padila premiya vishtahaya. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went swiftly to embrace Lord Jagannath, but when he entered the temple, he was overwhelmed with love of Godhead. He was so overwhelmed with love of Godhead that he fainted to the floor. Daivi Sarvabhauma Tahake Kore Darashan Paricha Marite Teho Koila Nibaran. When Mahaprabhu fell down, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya happened to see him. When the watchman threatened to beat the Lord, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya immediately forbade him. So the watchman was thinking that Mahaprabhu was some madman who saw the Lord and was running towards the Jagannath deity to embrace him, and then Mahaprabhu fell to the floor, and the watchman was going to come and beat Mahaprabhu, but Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya saw that and stopped the watchman. These kind of things happen because sometimes people act very, very strange in the temple. So the idea is, if the person is in love of Godhead and you hit them, they won't notice anything. And if it's a madman and you hit him, it'll stop him from causing some disturbance. Prabhura Sundaryara Premara Bikar Deki Sarvabhauma Hoila Bishmita Apar. In this case, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya stopped the watchman from beating Mahaprabhu. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was very surprised to see the personal beauty of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as well as the transcendental transformations wrought on his body due to love of Godhead. So Mahaprabhu was showing divine ecstasy when he fainted. Bahukane Chaitanya nahe bogera kala hoila sarvabhauma mane tabe upaya chintila. Mahaprabhu remained unconscious for a long time. Meanwhile, the time for offering prasadam to Lord Jagannath came, and the Bhattacharya tried to think of a remedy. Sishya Paricha Dwara Prabhu Nilabhyahaya Garayani Pavitrastani Rakila Shoyana. While Mahaprabhu was unconscious, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, with the help of the watchman and some disciples, carried him to his home and laid him down in a very sanctified room. So at that time, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya lived on the southern side of the Jagannath temple. His home was practically on the beach and was known as Markandeya Sarashtata. At present, it is used as the monastery of Ganga Mata. Okay? So they were about to offer boga, and then they're going to close the mandir while the Lord takes rest. But Mahaprabhu has fainted, and he's lying there for a long time. So Sarvabhauma was thinking what should be done, so he had his disciples. He had many disciples. He had them carry Mahaprabhu to his house. Shvasta prashvasa nahi udara spandan dekya chintita hoila bhattacharyaman. Examining the body of Mahaprabhu, examining the body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sarvabhauma saw his abdomen was not moving and that he was not breathing. Seeing his condition, the Bhattacharya became very anxious. Shukshma tula ani nashta agrate darila ishat shalaya tula deki darya hoila. The Bhattacharya took a fine cotton swab and put it before the Lord's nostrils. When he saw the cotton move very slightly, he became hopeful. So he was Sarvabhauma was thinking that Mahaprabhu was not breathing, but when he held a small piece of cotton in front of his nostrils, he saw that the cotton was moving a little bit, so he knew that Mahaprabhu was breathing. Bashi Bhattacharya Mane Korana Bichar E Krishna Mahapremer Satvika Bikar. Sitting beside Mahaprabhu, he thought, this is a transcendental ecstatic transformation brought about by love of Krishna. He knew that this is Krishna Mahaprem. So, Sudipta Sattvika E Namaje Praloy Nitya Siddha Bhakti Se Sudipta Bhavahoy. Upon seeing the sign of Sudipta Sattvika, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya could immediately understand the transcendental ecstatic transformation in the body of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Such a sign takes place only in the bodies of eternally liberated devotees. The word Sudipta Sattvika is explained in the following way by Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur. The Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu mentions 8 kinds of transcendental transformations in the bodies of advanced devotees. These are sometimes checked by the devotee, and there are 2 stages of such checking, technically known as Dumayita and Jwalita. The Dumayita, smoking stage, is exhibited when only one of 2 transformations are slightly present, and it is possible to conceal them. When more than 2 or 3 transcendental transformations are manifest, and it is still possible to conceal them, although with great difficulty, that stage is called Jwalita, lighted. When 4 or 5 symptoms are exhibited, the Deepta, blazing stage has been reached. When 5, 6, or all 8 symptoms are simultaneously manifested, that position is called Udipta, inflamed. And when all 8 symptoms are multiplied 1,000 times and are all visible at once, the devotee is in the Sudipta, intensely inflamed stage. Nitya Siddha Bhakta indicates the eternally liberated associates of the Lord. Such devotees enjoy the company of the Lord in 4 relationships: as servant, dasya, friend, sakya, parent, vatsalya, or conjugal lover, madhurya. So then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is surprised to see that Mahaprabhu is exhibiting the symptom of Sudipta Sattvika, which is a very advanced stage of prema. Ariruda bhavachara tara ebikar manushara dehedeki borachamatkar. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya considered the uncommon ecstatic symptoms of Adiruddha Bhava are appearing in the body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is very wonderful. How are they possible in the body of a human being? Here it says, Adiruddha Bhava or Adiruddha Mahabhav is explained by Srila Rupa Goswami in his Ujjvala Nilamani. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur quotes Rupa Goswami as follows: loving propensity of the Ashraya devotee toward the Vishai Lord becomes so ecstatic that even after enjoying the company of the beloved, the devotee feels that enjoyment is insufficient. At such a time, the lover sees the beloved in different ways. Such a development of ecstasy is called anuraga. When anuraga reaches its highest limit and becomes perceivable in the body, it is called bhava. When the bodily symptoms are not very distinct, however, the emotional state is still called anuraga, not bhava. When bhava ecstasy is intensified, it is called mahabhava. The symptoms of Mahabhava are visible only in the bodies of eternal associates like the gopis. So this is getting very advanced in terms of what is being described. So I'll keep on going. Etachinti Bhattacharya Achena Basya Nityanandari Simha Dware Milila Asya. When the Bhattacharya was thinking in this way at his home, all the devotees of Mahaprabhu, headed by Nityananda Prabhu, approached the Simhadwar, the entrance door of the temple of Lord Jagannath. Tahashuni loke kohe anyonye bat ek sannyasi ashi deki Jagannath. There the devotees heard the people talking about a mendicant who had come to Jagannath Puri and seen the deity of Jagannath. They heard about one sannyasi who had come to Jagannath Puri and seen the deity of Lord Jagannath. Murchita hoila chaitan na hoy sharire sarvabhauma loya gela apanaragare. People said that the sannyasi had fallen unconscious upon seeing the deity of Lord Jagannath. Because his consciousness did not return, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had taken him to his home. Shuni sabe janila e Mahaprabhu karya henekale ailatahan Gopinathacharya. Hearing this, the devotees could understand that they were speaking of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Just then, Sri Gopinathacharya arrived. What about these flowers there?
These are garlands.
Okay.
All these are garlands.
Off-red flowers. Okay. Right. Nadia Nivasi Visharadir Jamata Mahaprabhu Bhakta Teho Prabhu Tattvagyata. Gopinathacharya was a resident of Nadia, the son-in-law of Visharada and a devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He knew the true identity of his lordship. Maheshwara Visharada was a classmate of Nilambar Chakravarti. He lived in the Nadia district in a village called Vidyanagar and had two sons named Madhusudana Vachaspati and Vasudeva Sarvabhauma. His son-in-law was Gopinathacharya. So I guess that means that Gopinathacharya was married to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's. Gopinathacharya was the brother, I believe, of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's wife. That makes him a son-in-law. Is it or no?
Son-in-law is married with a daughter.
He was a son-in-law. His son-in-law, Maheshwara Visharada, yeah. The son-in-law, Maheshwara Visharada. Mukunda Sahita Purve Ache Parichai, Mukunda Deki Atara, Hoila Vishmoy. Gopinathacharya had previously been acquainted with Mukunda Datta, and when the Acharya saw him at Jagannath Puri, he was very much astonished. So they're traveling together, Mukunda and Nityananda Prabhu and several other devotees, and when they meet Gopinathacharya, who's the brother-in-law of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, then they're very happy because they know him from Bengal. Mukunda Tahare Deke Koila Namaskar Teho Lingya Puche Prabhura Samachar. Mukunda Datta offered obeisances unto Gopinathacharya upon meeting him. Then the Acharya embraced Mukunda Datta and inquired about news of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mukunda Kohe Prabhur Iha Hoila Agamane Amisab Asiachi Mahaprabhur Sane. Mukunda Datta replied, the Lord has already arrived here. We have come with him. Nityananda Gosai Ke Acharya Koila Namaskar Sabi Meli Puche Prabhur Bharta Barbar. As soon as Gopinath Acharya saw Nityananda Prabhu, he offered his obeisances unto him. In this way, meeting all the devotees, he asked about news of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again and again. So Gopinath Acharya is asking the devotees, where's Mahaprabhu? He knows he's come. He's arrived. Mukunda Kohe Mahaprabhu, Mukunda Kohe Mahaprabhu, Sanyas Korea, Nila Chali Aila, Sange Ama Sabloya. Mukunda Datta continued, after accepting the sannyas order, Lord Chaitanya has come to Jagannath Puri and has brought all of us with him. Ama Saba Chariage Gela Darshane, Amisab Pache Island Tara Anbeshane. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left our company and walked ahead to see Lord Jagannath. We have just arrived and are now looking for him. Anjonje Lokeramuke Jekata Shunila Sarvabhauma Grihe Prabhu Anumana Koila. From the talk of the people in general, we have guessed that the Lord is now at the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Ishwara Darshane Prabhu Premiya Chaitan Sarvabhauma Loyagela Apana Bhavan. Upon seeing Lord Jagannath, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became ecstatic and fell unconscious, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya has taken him to his home in this condition. Tomara milane jabe amar hoilaman daibi se kane pailun tomara darshan. Just as I was thinking of meeting you, by chance we have actually met. Chala sabe jay sarvabhauma bhavan prabhu deke pache koriba ishwara darshan. You can sit in one of those chairs. There's a chair. Okay. First, let us go to the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Later we shall come to see Lord Jagannath. Eta Shuni Gopinath Sabare Loya Sarvabhauma Garegela Harashita Hoya. Hearing this and feeling very pleased, Gopinath Acharya immediately took all the devotees with him and approached the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Sarvabhauma Stane Giya Prabhu Ke Dekila Prabhu Dekiya Charjera Dukkha Harsha Hoila. Arriving at the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, everyone saw the Lord lying unconscious. Gopinath Acharya became very unhappy to see him in this condition, but at the same time he was happy just to see the Lord. Sarvabhauma Jananya Sabha Nila Abhyantare Nityananda Gosaire Teho Koila Namaskare. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya permitted all the devotees to enter his house, and upon seeing Nityananda Prabhu, the Bhattacharya offered him obeisances. Sab Sahita Jata Jogya Korila Milan Prabhu Deki Sabar Hoila Harashitaman. Sarvabhauma met with all the devotees and offered them a proper welcome. They were all pleased to see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sarvabhauma Pataila Sabha Darshan Korite Chandaneshwara Nija Putra Dila Sabar Sate. The Bhattacharya then sent them all back to Lord Jagannath, and he asked his own son Chandaneshwar to accompany them as a guide. Jagannath Deki Sabar Hoila Nanda Babe Te Avishta Hoila Prabhu Nityananda. Everyone was then very pleased to see the deity of Lord Jagannath. Lord Nityananda in particular was overwhelmed with ecstasy. Sabe Meli Dwari Tare Shushtira Korila Ishvara Seva Kamala Prashada Anidila. When Lord Nityananda Prabhu nearly fainted, all the devotees caught him and steadied him. At that time, the priest of Lord Jagannath brought a garland that had been offered to the deity and offered it to Nityananda Prabhu. Prashant Paya Sabe Hoila Nandita Mane Punarapi Aila Sabe Mahaprabhurstane. Everyone was pleased to receive the garland worn by Lord Jagannath. Afterward, they all returned to the place where Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was staying. So they went to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's place. They saw Mahaprabhu there, but Sarvabhauma sent them back to have darshan of the Jagannath deity and then come back to his house. Ucha kore kore sabe nama sankirtan tritiya prabhare koila tritiya prahare koila prabhura chaitan. All the devotees then began to loudly chant the Hare Krishna mantra. Just before noon, the Lord regained his consciousness. Humkara koreya ute hari hari boli anande sarvabhauma tara Loila Paraduli. Mahaprabhu got up and very loudly chanted, Hari, Hari. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was very pleased to see the Lord regain consciousness, and he took the dust of the Lord's lotus feet. So they're all chanting, the devotees all chanted very loudly, and then Mahaprabhu came out of his trance, and then Mahaprabhu was shouting Hari Hari. Sarvabhauma kohe shigra koraham madhyana mui bika dimu aji mahaprasadana. The Bhattacharya informed all of them, please take your midday baths immediately. Today I shall offer you mahaprasadam, the remnants of food offered to Lord Jagannath. Samudra snana kore Mahaprabhu shigraila charana pakale Prabhu asane basila. After bathing in the sea, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees returned very soon. The Lord then washed his feet and sat down on a carpet to take lunch. So they're all going to take lunch, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is going to serve Mahaprasadam from Lord Jagannath. Bahuta prasada sarvabhauma anaila tabe Mahaprabhu suke bhojana korila. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya made arrangements to bring various kinds of Mahaprasadam from the Jagannath temple. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then accepted lunch with great happiness. Suvarna talirana utama vyanjan bhaktagana sange Prabhu korana bhojan. Mahaprabhu was offered special rice and first-class vegetables on golden plates. He thus took lunch in the company of his devotees. Sarvabhauma pariveshan korana apane Prabhu kohe moreteho lafra vyanjane. While Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya personally distributed the prasadam, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested him, please give me only boiled vegetables. Lafra vyanjana is a preparation in which many vegetables are boiled together, and then a chunk or a chance is added, consisting of spices like cumin, black pepper, and mustard seed. Pitapana deho tumi iha sabha kare tabe Bhattacharya kohe judi dui kore. You can offer the cakes and preparations made with condensed milk to all the devotees. Hearing this, the Bhattacharya folded his hands and spoke as follows. So Mahaprabhu is saying, just give me some boiled vegetables. You can give all the fancy preparations to the other devotees. Then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya says to Mahaprabhu, Jagannath kaiche kore jachin bojan ajay sab mahaprasada kora ashwadan. Today, all of you, please try to taste the lunch just as Lord Jagannath accepted it. Eta boli pitapana sabha kao chaila bika karana achaman koraila. After saying this, he made them all eat the various cakes and condensed milk preparations. After feeding them, he offered them water to wash their hands. He offered them water to wash their hands, feet, and mouth. So pitapana is like a drink and like some form of like a roti or something like with a drink. So agya magi gelo gopinatha charja kelaya prabhura nikata aila bhojana korinya. Begging permission from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya then went with Gopinath Acharya to take lunch. After finishing their lunch, they returned to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Namo Narayana Bole Namaskara Koila Krishna Mate Rastu Bole Gosai Kohila. Offering his obeisances to Mahaprabhu, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, Namo Narayana. I offer my obeisances to Narayan. In return, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Krishna Mate Rastu. Let your attention be on Krishna. So this will indicate to Mahaprabhu saying this indicates to everyone that he's a Vaishnava. He's not an impersonalist. It is the etiquette among sannyasis, those on the fourth platform of spiritual life, to offer respects by saying Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Narayanaya. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Narayan. This greeting is used especially by Mayavadi sannyasis. According to the Smriti scriptures, a sannyasi should not expect anything from anyone, nor should he consider himself identical with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vaishnava sannyasis never think of themselves as being one with the Lord. They always consider themselves eternal servants of Krishna, and they want to see everyone in the world become Krishna conscious. For this reason, a Vaishnava sannyasi always offers his blessings to everyone, saying, Krishna Mati Rastu, may you become Krishna consciousness. So the Mayavadis and many sannyasis will say, Om Narayanaya. Like you are a sannyasi, you're as good as Narayan. But then Mahaprabhu shows that he's not an impersonalist. He answers, Krishna Mati Rastu. So, yes, and may you always remember Krishna. So, Shuni Sarvabhauma Mani Vichar Korila Vaishnava Sannyasi Iho Bachane Janila. Hearing these words, Sarvabhauma understood Lord Chaitanya to be a Vaishnava sannyasi. Gopinatha Charjere Kohe Sarvabhauma Gosaira Janite Chahe Kahan Purvashrama. Sarvabhauma then said to Gopinatha Acharya, I want to know Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Mahaprabhu's Purvashrama, his previous situation before he was a sannyasi. Gopinath Acharya Kohe Navadi Pegar Jagannath Nama Padavi Mishra Purandar. Gopinath Acharya replied, there was a man named Jagannath, and that's Jagannath Mishra, who was a resident of Navadip and whose surname was Mishra Purandar. Vishwambara Nama Ihar Tara Iho Putra Nilambara Chakravatir Hoyana Duhita. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the son of that Jagannath Mishra, and his former name was Vishwambar Mishra. He also happens to be the grandson of Nilambar Chakravarti. the Bhattacharya said, Nilambar Chakravarti was a classmate of my father, Maheshwara Visharad. I knew him as such. So when they mention that Mahaprabhu is the grandson of Nilambar Chakravarti, then Maheshwara Visharada, he was a classmate of my father, Maheshwara Visharada, classmate of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's father. I knew him as such. So he knows Nilambar Chakravarti, and then when he hears that Nilambar Chakravarti is the grandson, that Mahaprabhu is the grandson of Nilambar Chakravarti, then he knows his family. Mishra Purandara Tara Manya Henajani Pitara Sambande Dohake Puja Korimani. Jagannath Mishra Purandar was respected by my father. Thus, because of their relationship with my father, I respect both Jagannath Mishra and Nilambar Chakravarti. Narya Sambande Sarvabhauma Rishta Hoila Prita Hoya Gosaire Kohite Lagila. Hearing that Mahaprabhu belonged to the Nadia district, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya became very pleased and addressed the Lord as follows. Sahaje puja tumi areta sanyas ateva hantomara aminejadas. Sahaje puja tumi areta sanyas ateva hai tomar aminejadas. You are naturally respectable. Besides, you are a sannyasi. Thus, I wish to become your personal servant. So this is what Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is saying. I'm a grihastha, and you are a sannyasi. You're naturally respectable. Thus, I wish to become your personal servant. Shuni Mahaprabhu Koila Sri Vishnu Smaran Bhattacharya Kohikechu Vinoy Vachan. As soon as Mahaprabhu heard this from the Bhattacharya, he immediately remembered Lord Vishnu and began to speak humbly to him as follows. So if someone glorifies another person or says something that the other person feels is too much or doesn't want to hear, then he says, Vishnu, Vishnu. Like, this is not correct. The way you're glorifying me, this is not correct. I shouldn't be glorified. So Mahaprabhu was saying, Vishnu, Vishnu. Tumi Jagat Guru Sarva Loka Hita Karta Vedanta Parao Sanyasi Rupakarta. Because you are a teacher of Vedanta philosophy, you are the master of all the people in the world and their well-wisher as well. You are also the benefactor of all kinds of sannyasis. So then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is just glorifying Mahaprabhu because, oh, you're a sannyasi, then you're non-different from the Lord, and you are also a grandson of Nilambar Chakravarti, who was very dear to my father, and he's praising Mahaprabhu. Because you are a teacher, Tumi Jagat Guru Sarvaloka Hitakarta Vedanta Parao Sanyasir Upakarta. Because you are a teacher of Vedanta philosophy, you are the master of all the people in the world and their well-wisher as well. You are the benefactor of all kinds of sannyasis. Ami balak sanyasi banda mandana hijani tomarashraya nilun guru korimani. I'm a young sannyasi, And I actually have no knowledge of what is good and what is bad. Therefore, I am taking shelter of you and accepting you as my spiritual master. Now, Mahaprabhu is speaking. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was glorifying him. And then Mahaprabhu says, I'm just a young sannyasi. I don't really know the ropes so well. I don't know how to do things properly. So I have no knowledge of what is good and what is bad. Therefore, I am taking shelter of you, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, accepting you as my spiritual master. Tomara sangha lage mora iha agaman, sarva prakare koribe amai palan. I've come here only to associate with you, and I am now taking shelter of you. Will you kindly maintain me in all respects? Ajije hoila mar bora I bipati tahan hoite koile tumi amara avyahati. This incident that happened today was a great obstacle for me, but you have kindly relieved me of it. So Mahaprabhu is saying, my falling down unconscious in the temple of Lord Jagannath, this is a great obstacle for me. This is very embarrassing. It should not have happened. So this incident that happened today was a great obstacle for me, but you have kindly relieved me of it. So you took me to your house. You took care of me. This was something bad that happened to me. Me falling, Mahaprabhu was saying, me falling unconscious in the temple of Jagannath. This incident that happened to me was a great obstacle for me, but you have kindly relieved me of it. And he was in Krishna Prema. He was in ecstasy. And he fell unconscious seeing the deity. But Mahaprabhu was saying, I'm just a young sannyasi, and this happened to me. It shouldn't have happened, but you took care of me. Now, you please instruct me. I don't know anything. Bhattacharya kohe ekale tumina jaiha darshane amara sange jabe kimva amara lokasane. The Bhattacharya replied, do not go alone to see the deity at the Jagannath temple. It is better that you go with me or my men. So don't go alone to the temple. We will accompany you. You don't want this to happen again. Prabhu kohe mandira bitarena jaiba garudera pashe rohe darshana koriba. The Lord said, I shall never enter the temple, but shall always view the Lord from the side of the Garuda Stamba. I'll always stand far away against the column which has Garuda on the top, far away from the deity. I'll stand near there. I won't go close to the deity anymore. This incident, I don't want it to happen again. So, Gopinathacharya ke kohe sarvabhauma tumi gosaire loya koraila darshana. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya then told Gopinathacharya, take Goswamiji and show him Lord Jagannath. So you take care of him. Amaramatri Shvasagriya Nirjan Astan Tahan Basa Deho Kora Sarva Samadhan. Also, the apartment belonging to my maternal aunt is a very solitary place. Please make all arrangements for him to stay there. So, Gopinath Prabhu Loya Tahan Basa Dila Jala Jal Patradika Sarva Samadhana Koila. Thus Gopinathacharya took Mahaprabhu to his residential quarters and showed him where to find water, tubs, and water pots. Indeed, he arranged everything. Aradina Gopinatha Prabhu Stani Giya Shayotana Darshana Koraila Loya. The next day, Gopinathacharya took Mahaprabhu to see the early rising of Lord Jagannath. So he took him early in the morning to see Shayotana Darshan, when the Lord is woken, or the Lord is awakened early in the morning. Mukunda Datta Loya Aila Sarvabhauma Stane Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya Bolila Bachane. Gopinathacharya then took Mukundadatta with him and went to Sarvabhauma's house. When they arrived, Sarvabhauma addressed Mukundadatta as follows. So Mahaprabhu is now has a place near the temple, which that's Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya arranged for him. And then now Gopinath Prakriti Binita Sannyasi Dekita Sundar Amarabahu Priti Bore Ihara Upar. So now Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, his like paternal affection has awakened for Mahaprabhu, and he thinks that Mahaprabhu is just like a small, like a baby sannyasi, and he has to protect him. So he says, the sannyasi is very meek and humble by nature, and his person is very beautiful to see. Consequently, my affection for him increases. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya considered Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu a very humble and meek person, because although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a sannyasi, he still retained his brahmachari name of Chaitanya. The Lord took sannyas from Kesha Bharati, and in the Bharati Sampradaya, in which the brahmacharis, the assistants of the sannyasis, are named Chaitanya. Even after accepting sannyas, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu retained the name Chaitanya, being a humble servant of a sannyasi. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya appreciated this very much, but he's thinking, oh, he didn't even take a sannyas name. He kept his brahmachari name, although he's a sannyasi. So he's very meek and humble, and he's like a young sannyasi. I have to take care of him. Kon sampradaye sannyas koryachan grahan kibanama iha shunite hoiman. From which sampradaya has he accepted the sannyas order, and what is his name? Gopinath Kohe Nama Sri Krishna Chaitanya Guru Ihara Keshav Bharati Mahadanya. Gopinathacharya replied, the Lord's name is Sri Krishna Chaitanya, and his sannyas preceptor is the greatly fortunate Kesha Bharati. So he took sannyas from Kesha Bharati. Sarvabhauma Kohe Iharanama Sarvotama Bharati Sampradaya Iha Hoyana Madhyama. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, Sri Krishna is a very good name, but he belongs to the Bharati community. Therefore, he is a second-class sannyasi, because the Bharatis, they're very proud. The different forms of people that belong to the Mayavad conception of sannyas. So they consider, that a name like Saraswati, that is a very high name, but a name like Bharati, someone who took sannyas from the Bharati Sampradaya, that's very low class. It's not a high class Sampradaya. So Gopinathacharya, then he says, then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, he belongs to the Bharati community. Therefore, he is a second-class sannyasi. Gopinath Kohe Ihara Nahi Mayapeka Ateva Bora Sampradaya Nahika Apeka. Gopinathacharya replied, Sri Krishna Chaitanya does not rely on any external formality. There is no need for him to accept a sannyas order from a superior sampradaya. So when Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, that's unfortunate, he took from the Kesha Bharati, the Bharati Sampradaya, and no, this is not very good. And then Gopinathacharya, he knows Mahaprabhu, he knows him from Bengal, he knows him, he's the Lord himself. He says, Mahaprabhu doesn't require a superior sampradaya to be okay. He's beyond that. He's way beyond that. He's the Lord himself. And Bhattacharya Kohe Ihara Prodas Jovana Kemote Sannyasa Dharma Hoibe Rakana. The Bhattacharya inquired, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in his full-fledged youthful life. How can he keep the principles of sannyas? He's too young to have taken sannyas. Mahaprabhu took sannyas when he was 24 years old. Usually a person doesn't take sannyas until they're really old. So then he says, how can he be a sannyasi and be so young? Then he will not be able to maintain his sannyas life. If he's so long, he'll become attracted to so many worldly things like women and so many mundane things. How can he keep the principles of sannyas? Nirantariha ke vedanta shunaiba vairagya advaita marge pravesha koraiba. I shall continually recite Vedanta philosophy before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu so that he may remain fixed in his renunciation and thus enter upon the path of monism. I'll instruct him about sannyas so he can maintain himself as sannyas and then he can become a real impersonalist. So this Gopinathacharya is not going to like this. This is Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, his brother-in-law speaking. Kahena jadi punarapi joga patadiya samskara koriye uttama sampradaya aniya. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya then suggested, if Mahaprabhu would like, I could bring him into a first-class sampradaya by offering him saffron cloth and performing the reformatory process again. So I can reinitiate Mahaprabhu into a better sampradaya if he likes. So nobody wants to hear this. Nobody wants to hear this. Shuni Gopinatha Mukunda Duhe Duki Hoila Gopinathacharya Kechu Koite Lagila. Gopinathacharya and Mukunda Datta became very unhappy when they heard this. Gopinathacharya therefore addressed Sarvabhauma as follows. Bhattacharya Tumi Iharanad Jana Mahima Bhagavat Lakanera Ihate Sima. My dear Bhattacharya, you do not know the greatness of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All the symptoms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are found in him to the highest degree. Tahate vigyata iho parama ishvar agyastane kechunahe vigyara gochar. Gopinathacharya continued, Lord Chaitanya is celebrated as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is celebrated as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Those who are ignorant in this connection find the conclusion of knowledgeable men very difficult to understand. So I'm going to stop here and we'll sing Hari Harai and then have Arti. So, okay. Now. Are you ready? Okay. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jadavaya Nama. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jadavaya Nama. Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama. Page 60. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jadavaya Nama. Nama Krishna Jadavaya Nama. Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama. Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan. Govinda Giridhari Gopinatha Maranamo. Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra. Janardan Shiva Sari Gora Bhaktivedanta. Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhakti Raguna. lila korila prakash. Anande bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan. Shri Guru Vaishnava Padai Madhya-lila. Shri Guru Vaishnava Padai Madhya-lila. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Goriya. Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Narakamuna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Goranga Gandharvika Giridhari Ju Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande. So now you're going to have Arti?
Yep.
Okay. So then we'll say the Premadvani prayers. We'll say them after the Arti, because now it's time for the Arti. Right? Yes. Okay. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Sri Krishna Chaitanya
Hari
Ki Jai. Jayom Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajakacharya Ashtatara Sadashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Tila Niri Maharaj Ki Jai. Jayom Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajakacharya Ashtatara Sadashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Nirmalacharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Jayom Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajakacharya Ashtatara Sadashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jayom Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajakacharya Ashtatara Sadashi Shimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai. Jayom Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jayom Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhaktivedanta Thakur Ki Jai. Jayom Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Rupa Nuga Guru Bharata Ki Jai. Brahmachari Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dasha Raghunath Shat Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Harshivasde Shri Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Vishwavarinya Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupad Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Kushal Ashram Maharaj Ki Jai. Nanda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Navadip Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Ki Jai. Shri Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Parshada Sriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Shri Goladvip Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Soquel Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Seva Ashram Ki Jai. Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Tulasi Maharani Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Govardhan Shyam Guna Radha Kunda Kalindi Yamuna Jo Ki Jai. Shri Purushottam Madam Ki Jai. Subhadra Jagannath Jo Ki Jai. Bhakti Vigna Vinashaya Shri Sringadev Ki Jai. Bhakti Shri Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Gaur Premanand Jai.
Jai Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardan Maharaj